Well, Sonia Schott is a managing director at Schott Int'l Consulting in Washington. She joins us now live with more on the situation in Venezuela. Thanks so much for joining us. So how is this measure of calling in the military to protect these areas playing out in the country? Is it being seen as a necessary and appreciated measure?
Well, actually, we have to take into account that Venezuela is going under a political, economic, and social crisis right now for a long period of time. And first, this is an admission of the government that it is unable to deal with the crisis. Second, because we are in a political process, the opposition, and not just only the opposition, but the majority of Venezuelans, they are trying to call for a recall referendum in order to let the people decide if President Maduro should stay or not in power. That brings a lot of confusion because normally the military solution is always the last solution to be called. So that brings a lot of confusion in the Venezuelan field.
I can imagine, because the army can really only provide security in certain areas, but they can't solve what's at the core here, and that is that economic crisis you're talking about. But still, you mentioned that referendum that the opposition is calling for. Do moves like this bring that referendum ever closer?
Well, actually, I don't see that because there is not a secret that the government is reluctant in order to be ready for this referendum, especially this year. Because if this referendum happens next year, then the vice president or someone else from the government will be in charge for the next 2.5 years. And this is what the opposition tries to avoid. Because they see that with President Maduro, with the government of Maduro, there is no solution, no way out to the crisis.
Sonia, do you worry about serious civil unrest breaking out across Venezuela? We've even heard loose mention of civil war happening. Do you think that's possible?
Well, all the things are calling for that because of the social crisis, the economic crisis, and the political crisis we are in. So there is no way that Venezuela can hold any longer to that point. And something could happen anytime. That's why even the Organization of American States was involved in trying to reach a dialogue, to bring the government and the opposition and the civil society to a sort of a dialogue, but that hasn't happened so far. So that's why there are some fears that something violent could happen, a violent way out to the crisis.
Okay. Sonia Schott, we will have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us with your insight live from Washington.